very powerful true hero over in Italy has put up multiple top 2 and top 4 finishes with his version of Underworld Breach with a very spicy addition, Waterlogged Teaching. Welcome back, Vintage Gamers, to a challenge, Saturday afternoon challenge. We are playing a sweet list that is gaining a lot of popularity now that it has a pilot who is doing a large amount of winning with it. This is True Heroes Underworld Breach Tinker list. I would assume that this list actually started with the Deck 84. The Deck 84 is basically someone who has been playing DAC, Tinker, Underworld Breach decks for forever, six years or something. Maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's something like that. True Hero, I believe the Deck 84 did well at 4 seasons, and then True Hero started playing this version, and the card that I'm most interested in testing in this version is Waterlogged Teachings. Waterlogged Teachings is a blue-black split land that does enter tapped. That's the main downside. But on its blue-black spell side, it's like a Mystical Teachings. It gets an instant or a card with flash. Any instant or card with flash. So you can get like Pyroblast, Fatal Push. You can obviously get Brain Freeze. You can get Hull Breacher, which is really, really nice. So yeah, I'm like very skeptical of this card because it is an enter the battlefield tap land in Vintage, but obviously the front side is pretty powerful for a land and it pitches a Force of Will, so I can see why it would be good. But I'm always someone who would rather test a deck first before giving an opinion on a card or a deck type, rather than just, saying things that are not backed up by any play. So that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna take True Heroes list here, which just, I think he splits the top eight, the finals of challenges. So he split 2 challenges the last 2 days. So the 17th and the 18th were both finals split by True Hero with this deck. So see if we can't do the same today and win the challenge for go 1, 2, and 3. This is a Ponder list. This makes sense to me. This is kind of the direction I thought that Tinker decks would go after Ponder was unrestricted, especially with Saga restricted. Ponder makes a ton of sense here. I do like that it has a Lotus Petal for your Breach combo. 2 and 1 on the Breach combo makes a lot of sense. Mystical and Vampiric makes sense. Nothing here strikes me as odd. We are playing an extra Wheel of Fortune Twister for our Hull Breacher combo, which makes sense because we have Waterlogged Teachings as a way to tutor for Hull Breachers. Hull Breachers also play decently well with Dak Vaden. Nothing in this list strikes me as something that doesn't make sense. I'm personally not a huge fan of like having 3 negations. I might switch some of those for Steel Sabotages or Consigned to Memories, but I do like it has 4 removal spells. I'd probably want to go up a little bit higher. Or I guess a Braid sometimes counts. 5 total removal spells for mono white is maybe a little on the low side, but this is a deck that's heavily respecting Dredge with 4 ley lines, 3 needles, and a Tabernacle to go along with your combos. So I assume this deck is just farming on Dredge, and there are a lot of Dredge players in challenges right now. Yesterday was 20% metagame Dredge. Even though Dredge is not doing well, people continue to register it. That's why I think there's a kind of a problem with the copy-paste metagame. Like, if you go into here and you see, like, Dredge is the top deck, but it's only the top deck because it's being played a lot, not because it's winning a lot, and then you just copy Dredge, and then, it's a feedback loop where you're not really thinking. Like there are times where decks are good and you need to pick and choose your times. You can't just like pick the deck that has the most play rate. That's not how that wouldn't make sense to me. That's not how I approach Magic, but I guess that is how some people approach challenges anyways. So hopefully I am in round 1. I am. So we're gonna go jump right into round 1 with this Grixis Underworld Breach Tinker Waterlogged Teachings deck. Okay, round 1 versus Barter. I am on the play. I've got a Force, a Mystical, a Jet, and a Breach. Seems like a little sus. If I had another blue card, it'd be really strong because I could just Mystical for a Tinker and Tinker with Force backup on turn 2, the classic Tinker gaming. But I don't, so we'll have to see what opponent chooses to do here with their 7-card hand. Bizarre. Bizarre pass? Bizarre pass. I mean, he must have a force. Does it make sense to just mystical for ancestral then? Because I can replay my ancestral with breach later. Is that good enough though? Should I just try to natural a blue card and then go for a mystical on the next turn? It's kind of awkward because my hand is just like not really strong enough for this position here. It's okay though. We get the board in like 8 cards. So does Dredge. I feel like I would be interested in, man, that's such a bad draw. Like lands are just not what we want here. I would just like be interested in activating this on my turn so that I could have a hollow one, but maybe there's no hollow ones in the deck or something. Milled over 2 hollow ones. Milled over a force. Has an Icarid. Nothing comes back with this Icarid. It's 17. I don't know. Like it's really there's an amalgam. Oh, second bazaar. Okay. I don't think we're gonna have much choice after all of this. Wow, missed on everything. So nothing's coming back this turn. 2 Icarids next turn. 4 cards. I mean, I don't think I have a choice at this point. I believe I just have to go for a Tinker. I guess I could go for a Brain Freeze. Is that better? Not really, because my Saga hasn't come off yet. Probably just supposed to go for a Tinker. I mean, I bought it like 4 months ago, Urza. It worked for 2 months, and then it just stopped working. Don't know why. I got a really good deal for it. It's doubled in price since I bought it. Yeah, I mean, they had a negation. The good news here is we can technically still win with a breach combo if we top deck well. So, like I said, I was really happy with my build up until the point where it just stopped working. One stream it crashed, it never came back, and I had to RMA it. So, I don't die here, right? Oh, I just die here? I love Creeping Chill, man. That's a hell of a magic card. Wow. All right, cool. So from 16, I'm going to take 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I guess I can not fetch. So I'm not dead, but I definitely made a mistake playing this fetch land, I guess. They have 9 cards left. So this game entirely came down to did I draw a blue card on my first draw of the game? If I had drawn a blue card on that one draw step, then I would have mystical for a Tinker with force backup and probably won. This game is still winnable, though. If I draw a Black Lotus or a Brain Freeze, I do win. I might even be able to win with, like, Ancestral Recall. 2 Ancestral Recalls targeting at my opponent. Actually, there's still a Creeping Chill left in the deck. Holy shit. So I actually can't win with the Ancestral until I Brain Freeze. Wait. Waterlogged Teachings gets a Brain Freeze. So I have 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana. I think I win then. Because I can get a Black Lotus with 6 mana, Underworld Breach, Waterlogged Teachings, get a Brain Freeze. I might be short on cards, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be my line no matter what. Let me just see what this looks like cards-wise. I don't know. Let's see. I will have 1, 2, 3, 4 other cards in my deck. So I should be fine, right? There you go. Waterlogged Teachings gets +1 in my book. So I gotta be a little careful here on how I approach this. But it should be pretty easy anyways. Well, I can brain freeze them. I just have to have an ancestral and blue mana. So I'm gonna brain freeze myself until my whole deck is gone. And then I am going to cast Brain Freeze and target my opponent. And then with the Creeping Chill on the stack, or I don't know, like there's like a bunch of different ways I can do this. It's not gonna be a problem. I guess theoretically, if the first 3 cards have the Creeping Chill, then it might be better to just like Twister or something. All right, I'm gonna just do. I guess doesn't Wheel of Fortune kill me now? All right, so let's just make some mana and do the Brain Freeze then, and we'll just cast a bunch of Ancestral Recalls. Let me just cast a Black Lotus one more time. I have Pyroblast, my own spells as well, so. All of this is going to get there. But I have like more than one Ancestral Recall as well, so. I'm not really worried. I just need to be cognizant of the fact that there was a Creeping Chill in the deck. And by being cognizant of the fact that there was a Creeping Chill in the deck, I can win the game. Cool. I did not go to Japan. I was still dealing with the after effects of recovery. But I will be in Europe and NA and Four Seasons. Okay, so we actually stole a game 1 there by drawing the Waterlogged Teachings off the top. So I guess I really did have 1, 2, because I have Waterlogged Teachings instead of Merchant Scroll, instead of having 1, 2, 3 outs, I had like an extra 2 outs. So that was pretty sweet. We get to bring in 3 Needles, 1 Tabernacle, and 4 Ley Lines, which is a lot. Let's take out Negation, Wheel, Dack Faden, Fatal Push, Pyroblast, Mental Misstep. This is a Mystical Teachings, blue-black land split card. Seems pretty strong. So far, so good. 1 point to Waterlogged Teachings. I don't think there's anything else I need from these cards. These cards are all pretty bad, so it's good that we have a lot of cards to bring in. All right, our hand has triple jewelry, but a brain freeze and a ponder. That's a mulligan from me. We can do better. Our hand has a ley line. I will keep. Bottom the brain freeze. I didn't oh well, I don't think you need a lightning bolt. I don't think you need a lightning bolt to beat them. But I mean, you could play a bolt, I guess. I've never found that to be very necessary. Needle. Hmm. They have 2 cards left. Time Twister. Yeah. Okay. That's my plan. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. Farm Dredge with just by playing the right cards for the sideboard. It's a lot of vintage right now is just having the right cards in your deck. Lots of deck building checks. Make sure you have the cards to beat Dredge. Make sure you have the cards to beat Jewel, Mono White. I guess they could have a counterspell at this point for my Time Twister, but that's what it is. It is what it is. Let's just play this on upkeep. Guess they draw a force. I think I'd rather just Twister without playing my land. Cool. I guess Tinker is fine. Bridger interacts poorly with the Dredge mechanic. That was not a card I wanted on my top. So I guess what I'll do is Waterlogged Teachings. So is there something? Oh, I had a win because I can Waterlogged Teachings for a vamp and then vamp for I can do anything really. Okay, my bad. I Waterlogged for a vamp, and then I vamp for a Underworld Breach. Can I Twister again? I guess I don't have mana at the moment. I probably played this suboptimally, but I just wasn't really thinking about it too much. I keep looking for a Yogwill, but then I realize we're Underworld Breach combo instead. I guess I'll just take a vamp. Oh, okay, sure. That works too. I think a tabernacle would also make a concession, but I'm having a bit of a good time, so I'm having a wee bit of a good time. I could also Time Twister again. What if I Underworld Breach for a Time Twister? Doesn't that sound like fun? I mean, if we get to do this, like, shouldn't we shouldn't we get the most value? Okay, so Leyline of the Void confirmed good. Hull Breacher Twister confirmed good. And Waterlogged Teachings got us the win in game 1. So, a nice little start to this video. Okay, round 2. Opponent has On the Play and Lurrus, and we have Ancestral Recall. Gonna do the keeping. Tundra Gaming. On Color Mox. Mishra's Bauble. Crack Mishra's Bauble. Demonic Tutor. Okay. Well, I'm gonna cast Ancestral Recall, targeting myself on my turn. Or I can steal this Mox Shot. That sounds like a banger, actually. Kind of down for opponents tapped out, slam a Dak Fade in. There's a lot of different ways to build Lurrus. The most popular are Blue, Black, and Esper. Ah, they just had negation, pitching Time Walk. Okay. But you can play it with Deathrite Shamans, you can play it with Questing Druids, you can play it with Underworld Breaches. Yep, Ancestral Recall. It's a good one. And a Wasteland. Well, at least that means I'm not getting Bowmastered. Just gonna cast it now, unfortunately. Hopefully they don't have another force. Can't really wait till their upkeep. They just have another force. Man, this game is so lame. I lost the die roll. I lost the game. Sad. And another Wasteland. Yay. Yay. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 that's not allowed. My opponent has played some powerful Magic cards, to put it lightly. We're behind by a large amount. You can always draw Tinker and get out of it, though. And buy Lurrus, maybe. Another Wasteland? Yeah, why is this legal, man? Okay. Sure. You got it. I should have had a blue Sapphire. Unlucky. Yo, how? Wasteland is just... Yep. It's Wasteland. Cool. I dropped the thing I was playing with. No, come back. I'm having fun. I think we would be winning this game if we were on the play, though, right? It's just a die roll diff. They drew a second bauble to start looping with their Lurrus? Okay. Okay. That's not good. It's bad. It was gonna be okay if they didn't have a bauble, because then we would have been able to maybe draw out of it, but now we are dead. Just okay, cool. Very fun. All right, I am going to bring in Lightning Bolt, Pyroblast, Abrade, Fatal Push, and I'm going to take out Negation, Vampiric, Mystical, Lotus Petal, and I don't know what else. Wheel of Fortune. I mean, I think it's good to have a Hull Breacher. I think good to have a Twister in if we have Hull Breachers in our deck, but I don't think, like, it's not really the main plan. That was basically the most brutal thing that could have happened, right? Our opponent countered our good spells, cast their good spells, and wastelanded all of our lands every turn of the game. Needle for wasteland? No. that is the definition of overboarding. I mean, I could have fetched a basic island at some point in that game, but I wanted a black source, so I guess I can get wastelanded here and lose. Didn't really consider that, but pretty sure I'm still supposed to get Ancestral Recall, so... Oh. Sure. You got it. Tundra Gaming. Sure. Ponder. I mean, I need to hit a land, so... Guess we're casting Ponder. Hit the Misty and a Tinker and... Okay, alright. I'm gonna take the Misty. I think that's more important. I will try not to Pyroblast unless I have to. I don't really want to lose my Tinker, but... It's our turn is just so bad though. Like if we untap and we like Pyroblast Lavinia, that's just not a very good turn. I guess I theoretically could Ponder after. And keep Dak for force. I guess that's not that bad. I guess if they have a force backup though, isn't it bad? I'm gonna... Oh, no. I should Ponder here. I should Kraken Ponder. I think now I'm gonna go get that. I still think getting a basic kind of stinks though. Yeah, I'm not getting a basic. Hull Breacher, Ruby. Okay, I think I want that in case I get Wastelanded here. The Ruby, that is. Also, a Ruby is probably a better sack than Jet. Hey, look, sure mine. Blue, white, Null Rod. To counter that. All right, force check. Did forcing my demonic tutor cost my opponent? Survey says... Oh, I'm really bad spot if this gets countered, actually, but I feel like putting the game on the line here makes sense to me. The way they played out this game. Lightning bolt targeting you. Pyroblast. Destroying your land. Oh, I guess we'll pass with a force up. Sag. Blue. Black. Frog. Counter. F6. Force back. They drew force for turn. All right. I did just use my Pyroblasts. Both of my Pyroblasts. But I have some Fatal Pushes in the deck still. Fetch. Fetch. Okay. Back Faden. plus. All right, Waterlogged Teachings does it. Oh, wait, it doesn't do it because I don't have a land. I guess I could... Jesus. This frog can only deal me 2 damage. Okay. I almost don't want to take a Fatal Push because I could have a Fatal Push on the top of my library, right? Is there a card here that makes more sense to put in my hand? Is like a card that like wins the game on the next turn? I mean, isn't Pyro like the same as having a Fatal Push on top? I'm at 6 life. Don't I want like an actual good card? Like maybe an Ancestral Recall makes sense? I need to be able to win the game next turn. Take Ancestral. A Braid. Wait, that actually works. I've never seen a Braid kill a Psychic Frog, but I guess we'll take it. This Ancestral also makes my deck fading a lot better. All right, so my opponent has no cards in hand and nothing in play. I'm at 4 with a Citadel and a deck, and I had an Ancestral in my hand. Okay. I feel like that was not a very good set of cards to have drawn off the top of my Citadel, but we'll take it. Yeah, I guess it depends if they buy Lurrus. They drew a Brainstorm. Seems good. Seems like a pretty decent one. Take the best of your top 3. Fetch. I mean, Lavinia, Bowmaster. Oh, they took a Wasteland. That means they did not have very many good cards in their top 3. I feel like we got a little lucky there. Huh. So if I play a Hull Breacher and then I plus targeting them, I can get a Twister, right? Or can I win with this Breach? I don't have anything to win with the Breach. So I think if I do, I go to 1, and then I Jack Fade in them, and then I Twister. Is that really worth it? That's probably worth it, right? I mean, if I just don't cast this and I just Dak Fade it myself, am I not also probably winning? Like, this means I can't force anything that they draw. I feel like this is worse. I feel like it's just worse. I don't think I'm interested in doing that. I just locked myself on the top of my library unless I fetch. But maybe that's just fine. I feel like we're just winning with Breach in this game. I kind of want to still make my mana, though. All right, does this Underworld Breach win the game? I go to 1 life. I cast at least Ancestral Ruby. But I don't want to go to 1 life. I'll just go next turn. Like, they can't do anything if I have Force and Misstep, right? I think I should just play safe and then win the game later. I cut a Lotus Petal, right? So it's just Lotus and 1 Brain Freeze. I guess I can technically draw another Hull Breacher and then flash back a Time Twister. Maybe I didn't play this, like, optimally. Just made random choices. I guess if we wait, we could always DAC Ultimate and then Breach, Pyroblast all their lands. Why do I want I should never have seen this line. Because now I kind of want to. I mean, it sounds like a good time. Doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like fun? I think it would be fun. Wasteland, can you stop? I don't even have a red source left in my deck now. Okay. These wastelands, man. Black Lotus, please. Under Max Sapphire. Dak Faden. I shouldn't need 2 breaches to win this game. Oh, why is this so hard? I need to find another red source now because I got wastelanded twice. I didn't really think that would happen. I got all of my volcanics wastelanded in this game. Yeah. Do I want to pay 1 to probe? Yeah. Pyroblast. Waterlogged teachings. No, Ruby's in my yard. All I have is a Lotus now. all I have is a Lotus now. Urza Saga. Probably should have ordered this the opposite way. Oh, I mean, I had 2 red sources, or I had 3 red sources at the time. I feel like I was supposed to sack the Ruby. It was the whole point of the Ruby. Shit. But yeah, it's not good. I agree. It's bad for me. It's all bad for me right now. I must admit. I could have played this game in a way that protected my underground. Like they had no cards in hand. Oh no. I don't even have like a fatal push or anything here. Is there an instant I should be searching for? Whatever. I can't even Pyroblast steal their Urza Saga because I don't have any red mana. Oh, I won the game. That's good. All right. It was never close, chat. Stop acting like it was close. I have a Waterlogged teachings. It was never close. Okay. All right. That I can only assume that I must have played this game horrendously after tinkering. I mean, maybe it was fine and I got unlucky, but it feels like I must have done something wrong. Because that was ridiculous. Oh, I have a Sensei's top in this deck? That's sick. I didn't even know that. Could I have tutored that at some point? I don't know. I feel like I must have done something wrong there, but wild. No, I really don't think the jet should have been sacrificed. I really don't think that was the case, but I think I just maybe played my lands badly after a certain point. I mean, there were a bunch of lines that were winning. I just thought that not doing, like, not go, I just didn't want to go to one when I had a Force of Will and my opponent had 0 cards. Like, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me to go to one when I have protect, like, I have a Force of Will protection. Jeez, okay. I don't care about that card. That's not what we're doing this game. Hope it all works out. Didn't get wastelanded. Hmm. Our hand's not actually that good besides Hold Breacher. Like, if Hold Breacher is not good, it's kind of a pain in the ass. But I am here to do the thing. Hard cast force. Like, I can't even attack with Hold Breacher because of Bowmaster. So I'm not even sure this hand is actually good. I mean, the Underworld Breach draw was pretty bad. Hmm. Oh, we're just gonna crack the spell bomb in response to draw a card? Sure. 2 mana, draw a card. I accept. Waterlogged Teachings. Seems good here. Doesn't actually get Time Twister, though, which is kind of sad. I guess that means what I should do is just... I mean, I can get Brain Freeze, but I feel like I should just cast Ponder. I mean, if they have a Bowmaster, I don't want to cast Ponder, though. So I guess we should just play Instant Speed and just play a Waterlogged Teachings on their turn. I can't attack because of Bowmaster. Even if I don't think they have Bowmaster there, it doesn't... maybe I could, because Bowmaster would cost a Lotus. I don't know. Buying Lurrus? Playing Lurrus? Not playing Lurrus. So they're holding up negation or something? They're holding up some kind of counter magic. Ancestral Recall or something else. It's probably just Ancestral Recall. They're holding up freaking Bowmaster, but they didn't have Bowmaster last turn, so they would have had to draw on Bowmaster this turn. I could just get a Fatal Push, but I don't actually have a way to crack into a Fatal Push, and I don't have red mana for Pyro, Bolt, or Abrade. It's very unfortunate. All right, I'm just going to get an Ancestral Recall. I don't. They would have to have drawn Bowmaster. I guess they could have just chosen not to cast Bowmaster at the end of my turn, but that doesn't seem like a great play. I drew a Pyro. I would love a red source. I guess I can just start by pondering. And if they Bowmaster, I can respond with an Ancestral, which they know about. I think they might have a Bowmaster, honestly. All I have is a single force. I don't want to force a Bowmaster. These are just not it, right? I hate this. I don't want these cards. I mean, I do want these cards. But I just use my black mana so the Fatal Push doesn't kill a Bowmaster either. I don't really like this. Oh, yeah, I shuffled. So the question actually is, do I play this as a blue-black land, or do I keep it as a blue spell so that I can have force and misstep up? I feel like playing it as a land is worse. Like, I mean, I can beat Bowmaster with a force, but like, isn't forcing Bowmaster pretty bad from this spot? Also, kind of think they have negation. Like, playing Ancestral just seems so awful from here. I don't know. I just did not draw the cards I needed off the Ponder, right? Like, I really needed the... If I had a red source for Pyroblast, wouldn't I be in a great spot? I guess I'm lucky I'm not getting wastelanded. Probably shouldn't complain. Like, I have to force Lurrus. So they had force backup, pitching Lorien. So at this point, we're Ancestraling, right? I mean, I get flustered. I just lose the game on the spot. I think I'm losing the game on the spot no matter what. Maybe they have negation and force, actually, and I just needed the Reb. I could wait. The Lurrus is just bringing back Lotus right now, because Spellbomb doesn't draw any cards. I'm going to try waiting. I do have a Mana Crypt in play. If I draw a red land, I drew another Waterlogged Teachings. This doesn't find any red sources, right? Is this card? Lorien would get me a red land. Oh my god. Yeah, you're right. So that's a minus point for Waterlogged Teachings. That is a huge minus. This card is huge minus point. Yep. All right. This is like kind of the problem with the card. All right. So now we're at what? 2 minus points and 1 positive. There's not something I can be searching for here that's good, right? All right, whatever. I'm over it. I don't think Ancestral targeting them is a good play. Why does everyone always want to do that? Yeah. Yeah. So they had double force. All right. I just needed to draw a red land. Instead, I drew. If it was Lorien revealed, I would win this game. They only have one card left now. We can still draw like a Time Twister and win. Actually, just drawing a red land still probably wins. Like, I need Ancestral to draw me cards. Like, drawing me mana isn't good. And what if they have a Swords to Plowshares or a removal spell? You can't just like throw. You just can't do that. It's crazy that you suggest that play at all. I've also lost a bunch of crypt flips now. Like 4 or something. Are we gonna give me a red mana? Oh no, they're just gonna exile my yard so my breach is off. Fair enough. Okay, so now I don't think we're winning. I did forget about that part of it. Revolt is only me, right? We're just gonna lose to our mana crypt. Yeah, we just lost every mana crypt flip and we're gonna lose the game. Like, I do feel like we drew awful in this game. Am I crazy? It does feel like we drew the worst possible things at every moment. Things are bad. Things are bad. I lost another crypt flip. That's so wild. Okay. The classic Black Lotus Nihil Spellbomb Null Rod combination gaming. Can I draw Tinker, please? Bruh. Bruh. This deck has so much like nonsense in it. Like, it just doesn't do anything. Yep. I mean, this would be really good if my Waterlogged Teachings was a Lorien revealed. All right, we dead. Red card. Okay, all right. I mean, we simply lost this match because of our deck, right? Our Waterlogged Teachings lost us this match. So big demerit. Onward and upward, round 2. Let's try to do our best. This hand has nice fetches, so I don't have to worry about my mana. It is a little bit low power hand. Not playing anything on turn 1. Don't have a forcible for my opponent's play. If my opponent plays a Bazaar of Baghdad, we are behind. But I can't imagine you're ever really supposed to put this back on the play in the blind in game 1. Having access to mana sources and Soul Ring and Hold Reachers just looks good to me. I also just don't think there's a reason to fetch basic island. I will probably fetch a Underground Sea. Underground Sea doesn't give away the fact that we are on red, which is Underground Sea is extremely common, and Volcanic Island is not. So it's probably going to be fetch Underground Sea, Soul Ring, pass, and then it's like really hard for them to wasteland an Underground Sea after you play a Soul Ring because it's just going to set them so far behind. You're going to be going to 3 mana with a land drop. They're going to be at 0 mana. Also, like, protecting out Tolarian Academy later in the game. Definitely don't want to use both of my fetch lands before I find a use for Brainstorm, but fetch. They kept a 6er, and I'm gonna get my Underground Sea, and I'm gonna play a Soul Ring. I do think that I should probably be more cognizant of which colors of blue lands I'm fetching, considering the issues we've had in the past few rounds. I kind of felt with like fetches and stuff, and three of each land, it wasn't a huge deal, but nice old frame sapphire, blue white, brain freeze. So it's a mirror. Yep, that's a waterlogged teachings. Makes sense. I expect people to try the deck. Oh, there's a voltaic key, a manifold key. So a little bit of a different take on the deck. I expect people to try to play the deck more as, you know, there's been a lot of winning. People play the deck that wins. Okay. I was thinking about brainstorming, but now I like the idea of holding open Pyroblast Hull Breacher. Though Pyroblast Hull Breacher does not actually beat an Underworld Breach here, so I might have to brainstorm anyways. I think it makes sense to brain freeze using your storm count here if you like don't have a way to use the brain freeze normally. I don't think it's a crazy scenario to just brain freeze yourself there. Play a Hull Breacher. If this gets countered, I'm okay with that. I still am interested in brainstorming before I use this fetch land, but I did want to hold up my red mana, so maybe a reason here that I should have fetched Volcanic Island is if I was going to draw a Pyroblast. Hard to say. So if I brainstorm into my opponent's Hull Breacher, that could be problematic. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to play the Tolarian Academy. I could have double red fetches. I don't think the Tolarian Academy is necessary. I'm going to pass here and see if my opponent bites on this Misty before I brainstorm. I really feel like doing my due diligence to play around, something bad happening. Ugh. Okay. Yeah. Now what? Like, if they play an Underworld Breach, I probably have to brainstorm. Don't have a choice. But you need to be, I think, pretty scared of Hull Breacher things happening. Obviously, I had a Pyroblast covering it, but it's still a little on the risky side. They haven't used a force in this game at all. Still a pass. Like, I'm not really convinced that I'm supposed to brainstorm in this spot. Maybe I'll play a second Hull Breacher instead. That starts to like limit my cards in hand for brainstorm though, so there's like some problems there as well. But it is a fast clock. Underworld Breach is a card I'd like to put back with brainstorm. I am not in a very good breach spot. I kind of feel like they have a Hull Breacher the way they've been pausing though. Like an Ambush Viper Hull Breacher here. Just give me a good opportunity to brainstorm if I had it. I'm gonna hold all of these cards in hand. Still nothing. All right. Maybe I'm supposed to go on upkeep then. This is 2 attacks for lethal. Maybe I'm playing too conservative here, but I am the one with pressure. Here's a fetch. Still not the same. Red. Breach. I mean, I kind of need to draw a force blue card, which is a big ask. I'm gonna get punished for not playing my Tolarian Academy here. That's so frustrating. Because now I have to fetch both of my lands to cast a negation on this Underworld Breach. But if I had played my Tolarian Academy, I would have had an extra red mana to hold Pyroblast. And so I would have been able to put back Underworld Breach and another card and still had the ability to go negation Pyro. Okay, that's on me. I should not have. Those were not the right cards to take. Okay, I forgot we're shuffling away. I don't think I'm getting another turn here, but I definitely did not play this correctly. I didn't think one blue mana would matter here, but I thought a card in hand for Brainstorm would matter. I don't think that's an unreasonable assumption to make, but I mean, I would have won this game, so they have to hit still on this Brain Freeze, but 5 Storm is a lot of Storm, so. Yeah, I don't think you can really miss from here, because you can hit another Moxen as well. I mean, this is my fault. I just needed to play my Tolarian Academy out for the chance that I had to hard cast a negation, which I just didn't see. That's a Mana Crypt and a Time Vault and a Time Twister and a Black Lotus. Okay. There's no way I can win from here, right? Because I'll go to 0 cards and I don't have an Ancestral in my hand. If I had an Ancestral in my hand, I could theoretically win from this spot. But we're dead. Yeah, I mean, like the problem was I didn't see that I would need blue mana to play a negation if I drew it. I have 1 negation in my deck, right? Yep. Just a mistake. Definitely a negation matchup, though. And probably a Pyroblast and a Braid and maybe a Lightning Bolt matchup. I don't really like the idea of Fatal Push here. I don't really like the idea of Island or Mystical or Vamp. And then Wheel is probably bad with the amount of Hull Breach on the other side. Let's go like that. That is a downside of Pyroblast, is it doesn't actually counter the spell you need to counter here. Would that game have been... I mean, the game would have been significantly different if I was willing to invest my Brainstorm earlier. I feel like the reasons why I didn't invest the Brainstorm made sense. But we also should have been, you know... With their early Brain Freeze, we should probably be expecting a Breach combo. And we should know that our Pyroblasts are not covering a Breach combo. So maybe I need to be more aggressive. This hand is garbage. I don't want to see this hand in my face. Get out of here. This is slightly better. I don't think I'm ever going to have a spot. I guess this is... I don't need a second one of these. I'm just going to be tapping out every turn. I guess I could need a second one of those if I wanted to have Forcible backup. Jet Pearl. Okay. Well, I think I want those. Now I get to hold open Hold Breacher Blast and then Demonic Tutor for Twister Blast. That's pretty good. Did I fetch? Okay. Well, it's another mistake on my part then. I needed to fetch a red mana so I could upkeep Protect from Ancestral. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm making small choice decisions that are losing me games, so it's good. Everyone can learn from that. All right, well, now I'm not supposed to play the Hold Breacher because my opponent has to discard 2 cards to hand size. So this Ancestral Recall became glorified Faithless Looting, and it's all fine. Do I want to draw another land is the question. I mean, it is likely that I won't be able to resolve any of my spells, but it looks like you drew all lands. Do I want another land? Getting a land lets me cast Demonic right now, so probably can cast Demonic and hold open Breacher. I guess I should probably not Demonic for Twister, because what's the chance my Hold Breacher is actually going to work? It's got to be very close to nothing, right? So it should just be Ancestral Recall on their upkeep instead. But then I'm running into Pyroblast as well. Isn't it kind of bad no matter what I choose to do? Like, there's no way any of this is going to work out well for me. But I am running out of times where I can actually use this Ancestral, so I feel like it makes sense to upkeep an Ancestral. I have to have exactly Pyro. Oh, they had Force. Okay, well then I'll definitely just invest this Pyroblast. I was expecting to get Pyroblasted and be upset, but this works pretty well. Pitch the Hold Breacher. I mean, if we both resolve an Ancestral, I drew 2 lands. Okay, fair. Oh, that's okay though. I feel like I should just make sure I don't miss out on lands here. Force. All right, so I'm gonna go Breach last. Oh, maybe I should just go Breach Demonic Brain Freeze. That's storm count of 2. Because I have to lose like a lot to get an Ancestral here. Is this silly? Was this wrong? Feels a little wrong. I mean, I think I'm always playing Breach there, but I don't think the the other part is straightforward. Don't think it matters if I slam Breach or not. What if I want to leave a blue and a black? Do I want to leave a red and a black open for another Demonic Tutor? Can I get both? If I Demonic Tutor, I go down to 1, 2 cards after. I mean, I kind of think it's bad, isn't it? Like, if I Ancestral and if I blast this and Ancestral Recall, then I just, like, am onto my top deck. I don't really like that. I'm just, like, a little concerned I don't get enough value off of DTing for freeze, though. Kind of have to hit Lotus or Petal in that scenario, so it's just, like, it just feels real bad to blast this and lose my demonic tutor. Wait, I'm not gonna have enough cards to ancestral, right? I lose 3 cards here, and I'm gonna have Pyroblast Ponder. Hello? This sucks. Ugh. It's gotta be something better. I've already played my land drop. I wish I could just tinker from here. I can't just tinker from here. Brain freeze is just not likely to work, is the problem. Man, this sequence actually sucked a lot, but I don't really think I had a better choice. I'm gonna lose Ancestral and DT, or I'm gonna lose DT for this line. Ugh. I did not like what just happened here. Okay, that's good. Maybe I'm like always casting it, just figuring out what the best play is after. Is this a dig? It's a wheel? Oh, I don't want that happening. What's my best Waterlogged teachings target? Like nothing? Oh, I definitely don't think I wanted double Hull Breacher, but this is okay. It probably still wins. I don't have enough to Hull Breacher and Will, right? Oh, that's a pretty good one. Oh. I mean, if they draw Breach, it's... I guess I have enough Rebs. It's probably fine. Ah, got him. I had it the whole time. Boop. Lightning bolt. I bet you think you had me. Boop. Okay. So they kept in wheel against me, huh? Interesting. Oh. Okay. Interesting. So they brought in Fatal Push or no? What did they have for removal? They had a Bolt. Okay. I don't know if I like how I played in that, but... Classic Tinker Mirror. Just throw haymakers at each other. Till someone resolves the tinker. All right, guess they get to look at my hand for free. Seems pretty good. How does chat feel about negating this Black Lotus? They have perfect information. This could be really good for me long term. So if they're playing Lotus Petal, it does make me a bit vulnerable. If they don't have a Lotus Petal, it does remove most of the breach kill. Yo, thank you for the 15 months, Colin. Colin? Ooh, an Urza Saga here is quite good. Uh-oh. The one Urza Saga, and I don't play Answers anymore. You hate to see it. Remember when you had to play Answers to Magic cards? Maybe a Bolt can answer the first one here, and it will be okay. They have a top and a Saga, though, so, like, they're going to win the long game. And I also had to invest 2 cards into a Black Lotus, so I don't think we're in a great spot here, if I had to guess. Also, if they just, like, make a token and I have to bolt it, then it means I'm not casting Waterlogged Teachings for Ancestral. Uh-oh. Things are bad. I think I have to bolt it, though. If I don't bolt this, don't I just die? I feel like I just die to it if I don't bolt it. Yeah, I think it looks pretty bad. I think it's a pretty bad spot to not. I'm so far behind, though. I have no... I have no anything. If they don't make a construct? I mean, I have at least force if they don't make a construct. No, they're not making a construct. Not me. You spoke it into existence. They're gonna get a Lotus Petal and breach kill me after I negated their Black Lotus. Oh no, it's bad for me. Yeah. I feel like their cards are just better, though. What was I supposed to do? I mean, it's got to be Lotus Petal Breach, right? Or maybe it's like Soul Ring Tinker or something. Oh, oh, right, right. That's a thing too. Yeah. Maybe they don't have force. They know we have force unknown. Pass? I feel like pass is good for us. Who likes Waterlogged Teachings for Ancestral here? Because I sure do. I still have Hardcast Force if I need to. I would just say that their sequencing makes me feel like they have a Pyroblast in their hand, right? Because if you don't want to play your Time Vault here, knowing I have a Force of Will, it means you think you have ability to play Time Vault later, and they're holding up red mana. Yeah, Pyroblast. So they're gonna Pyroblast my Waterlogged teachings. Interesting. Doesn't sound right. I feel like they should probably hold the Pyroblast here. Are they gonna draw an extra card with top, maybe? Oh, okay. So maybe they have a force on top here. No, they don't know. They didn't spin again after. They're just trying to get the value card here. Okay, interesting. Maybe I'll draw Tinker. I hate this game. I mean, I'm losing. Like, they draw an extra card every turn. Like, they don't actually have to jam Time Vault at all. Which is why, like, not making... It's why making a construct and casting Demonic Tutor is, like, probably not correct. If you're just going to win the long game by, like, holding up Pyroblast and playing Key top and just drawing an extra card every turn, that's probably a better choice than just going all in on Volt Key. So they have, like, Force of Negation backup, maybe? No, wait, that's not enough. Maybe they didn't maybe they didn't go for Time Vault. I mean, they know I have a Force, so maybe they let only one Pyroblast, and now they have to wait until they find another piece of counter magic. But again, like, they can just draw 2 cards every turn. So, and I'm just not good at this game. I'm just not good at this game. Ah. Justin, you need to draw action to win the game. What do? Draw land. I'm just dead. I just can't really beat, like, top Saga in a game of attrition where I'm drawing I've actually drawn no cards in this game. I countered their Black Lotus, bolted a 1 Saga land, creature, and got a Waterlogged Teachings countered. Well, if we assume that my opponent has a Time Bolt in their hand from Demonic Tutor, yes, countering top is not an option. The assumption is they tutored for a Time Vault and they're trying to find backup counter spell. So if I just counter the top, they just play a Time Vault and win the game. They have a breach, sure. So they found a backup plan. Yeah, I mean, we simply did not draw the cards we needed to be able to win a game of Magic. But I mean, also I played atrociously in the first couple of games, right? So onward to round 4. So far, we've had split instances on Waterlogged Teachings versus Lorien or Merchant Scroll. But I think the major takeaway from the first 3 rounds is that I just need to play better. I think there were multiple instances in the last round where I could have made different choices that would have given us an advantage and maybe put us in a place to win the game. A couple fetches were wrong. Just some suboptimal choices. So let's see if we can tighten up. Yeah, the big ones were like not playing the Tellurian Academy, which took out the draw of Hardcast Negation plus Pyro, and then playing an Underground Sea instead of a Volcanic Island on turn 1 didn't let me play the Pyroblast on my upkeep. Those are the 2 biggest ones. But obviously there's kind of little minor ones as well. Ancestral Recall, targeting myself. Have a Force. Ooh, Bazaar is back. We know we have a good post-board matchup here with a ton of extra Dredge hate, but will we have a game 1 victory again? Our hand is not exactly set up to beat Dredge in game 1 right now. Can I force this hollow one? I might just have to force this hollow one. I need to buy us time here. This just seems like the best way to buy time. I want to also try to preserve life total, because if I try to put a Citadel in play, it's a little unfortunate, because we do want to have force backup for our whatever play we decide to make, but I think... So the play I was looking at was maybe Vamp for Lotus and just hard cast a Citadel next turn. It's really unfortunate I don't have a force backup for it, but I think losing life to Vampiric plus Hollow One plus whatever they choose to do on their turn would be too much for Citadel as our main game plan. That being said, I don't need any of these cards to enact that game plan, so I'd rather spin and try to find something that will help me later. This is probably one of the better draws, because what it lets us do is if we fail on our Citadel next turn, we are vamping for Black Lotus, so we'll actually have a bunch of the combo pieces. So not a bad draw at all. They hit Narcomoebo, double Amalgam, and discarded Creeping Chill. So that means those are coming in, but they're not affecting my life total right away. And then a Dredge that missed here. So not bad. I could obviously still get forced here, though. But it's not a bad spot, all things considered. I think we're going to use the Black Lotus and the Petal and not make our land drop so that we have a better chance of winning with this Citadel. Let me just stop and pause and see if we have a breach kill. Would we have had a breach kill if we had vamped for... I guess we would have had a breach kill if we had vamped for Brain Freeze, right? Because if we had vamped for Brain Freeze, we had the Lotus Petal breach kill. I do like the idea of going for Lotus and going for Citadel because it plays around opponent having one piece of interaction. Whereas if we had gone for the breach kill with the brain, then got it countered, we would just lose the game on the spot. But I probably should have put at least a little bit more thought there. But this is a Citadel with a land drop to give. I assume opponent has a force. They do not have a force. Okay, well then we're going to win the game. We're going to time walk. And we'll breach kill them on our time walk turn. All right. Oh, I guess I need to be careful about Creeping Chill. Currently, my opponent has 3 Creeping Chills left in their deck. Should I wait then? 13, 11. I guess it also plays around Mindbreak Trap. Mystical was the first card that could have been Mindbreak Trapped. $11 life. Pretty sure it's better to just continue forward here. Just gonna stop, go to my next turn, and cast Underworld Breach. Okay. Now it's elementary. I'm at 11. They have 3 Creeping Chills, so I can't actually die. I guess I should do a couple more targeting myself here. All right. All right. Got a game 1 versus Dredge again. That is usually the key to being Dredge, is actually have the ability to win in game 1, usually through combo or Wasteland. And then in post board, you shore up the power discrepancy with a ton of sideboard cards. I mean, the 3/3s were backed up by Leyline of the Voids, weren't they? And Wastelands, so. What was I cutting here? It seems like too many cards. Was I keeping Pyroblast in? Was that what was happening? I must have been keeping Pyroblast in. Can't remember. I guess Dak Faden steals Hold Breacher, so I probably want to keep Dak Faden in. Interesting. Maybe I like wasn't cutting Island or something. I don't remember. Something like that though. Maybe X and Dredge, or Dredge and X, huh? Oh, yeah, we got the win here. This hand is not good enough. Mulligan. This is keep. Bottom Breacher, I assume. Ley line on 7 verse 7. See what happens. Strip mine. It's not. What? Why? Don't hurt me. Vigor? No vigor. I don't really want to expose my Blooded Strand. Those are activates. Chill, Powder, Noxious, Icarid. Icarid not a Grief not a problem here. I have 2 Dax, so maybe they take Ponder or Petal or something. It's not like I had Force protecting my Leyline anyways. Took the Ponder. Now they probably won't play a Hollow one. We'll still deploy a Dak Faden though. Keeps us protected versus Hollow one and starts drawing us into cards that matter. Definitely worthwhile. Obviously, if they have a Force here and then they wasteland our land, it's kind of annoying, but sure, mine our red source. And 4 stack. All right, 1 card from my opponent. I have a Leyline and an Underground Sea versus a Bazaar. Not a bad spot to be. Yeah, probably won't activate here because if they're trying to get green card Vigor, they want to have more cards in their hand. Needle. Seems good. Unless I get Vigored right away. Mental misstep. Okay. I will play my blue-black tap land. Pass from the opponent. Another needle. Okay. No activation is interesting. So they just have the natural green card Vigor now, but if they natural green card Vigor, we probably lose the game. Saga is not a fetch land, but it's not bad either. Saga can make some constructs to end this game. Also fetch up a third needle. Black Lotus. So that makes a Dak fade in and makes a Saga token. Is that really worth it though? I'm just plussing my Dak. I think it is. I did board out the Pyroblast, right? So I can't steal the Bazaar. Very simple, very easy. Let's just get another one. Bazaar of Baghdad. Kind of like having all that mana, but maybe it's not worth it. I could get rid of the 2 spells that were gonna let me use that mana. Now that they have to Vigor twice, so I don't think they can ever win, and we have 8 power, so. Best card is Time Walk, I assume. Though lots of magic cards win from here. Alright, there's Vigor on Leyline plus Needle. That resolves. Also shrinks the constructs. Hull Breacher. So what we'll do is we'll play the Hull Breacher, then target our opponent, and they'll just discard 2 cards. Oh, wait. That was really dumb because I don't have a Leyline in play anymore. Okay, that was really bad. But it does give me 2 artifacts. That could have been bad. Now they could have a Dredger too. I just gave them a Dredger for fun, but I think it doesn't matter. My bad. I forgot that Leyline went away. It's too funny. This is still lethal. Okay. I got bored there at the end and just started taking actions at random, but I don't know. You play your ley lines in the board and you beat Dredge. If you want to beat Dredge as Lurrus, you can still play your ley lines in the board. Dredge is going to lose to ley lines many times, so if you ever need the secret, 10 cards in your sideboard. Onwards and upwards, round 5 of 6 for our 55-player Vintage Challenge. Gregorius plays just about everything. I kind of expect him to be trying the Breach deck, though. Yep. Not going to fight over that. Classic. I should have fought over that. Oops. Maybe he'll invest in a Time Twister and we both can go to 0. I don't know. I don't think it's actually good. I kind of like the idea of flashing in and blocking. And then Vamp for Ancestral. I guess if there's a Pyroblast, though, Vamp Ancestral is real sus. But like, what am I gonna? I don't know. I have like not a lot going on. I have a lot of clunky cards. I guess theoretically, I could just vamp for a mana crypt. Maybe that's the best play actually. Yeah, I actually like that a lot. Vamp for a mana crypt lets me replay New Hole Breacher on the next turn, and then I can Twister if I get to that point. Yeah, that might be worth it. Okay. If this Hole Breacher gets Pyroblasted or Forced, do I force back? Probably. I'm gonna put the Mana Crypt on the top of my library, and then I'm gonna move to Combat damage block thing and snap off a trade here. All right. That's not bad, though. Now I have the ability to play Hull Breacher and Twister, and I still have a Force. Opponent has 3 cards. I kind of like this exchange. Interesting. Uh-oh. Another Hull Breacher? All right, well. If I want to play my game plan, I think I have to force that one. Actually, like, land waterlog teachings for Pyroblast is super freaking annoying here. I didn't even realize that. Is this going to be Demonic Tutor for Ancestral? I don't think this is going to work out for me. It looks like my opponent has a little bit too much gas. And Mox is certainly better than Black Lotus in this spot. Like, what can I realistically do from this here? Should I just cast it now and, like, make my opponent get a Pyroblast? I have to cast it end of turn no matter what. So if my opponent, like, resolves an Ancestral, it's, like, way worse for me. I'm pretty sure I'm just supposed to cast this now and let my opponent have full information and, like, make it so they can't get Ancestral and they have to go for Pyroblast. And then maybe we can still win off the Twister. That's a real sus, though. Super, super sus. Because this just means they can just Demonic for Pyroblast. But it means they won't go for Ancestral, and then Ancestral in response to my Hull Breacher, which would be pretty bad for me. It does mean that if they have a land, they could go like Demonic Tinker, and we don't have a counterspell. I think they might have just Demonic Pyroblast, though. Yeah. All right, so my opponent has 2 cards in hand, and they have 1 card in hand in a much better mana situation. So it's bad for me, for sure, but we probably have no other choice. So I will Twisties. That does not look very good for me. Okay, well, I'm gonna pass. Don't think we came out on top of that one, but maybe my opponent's hand is all Lance. Who knows? All right, well, I'm gonna try to cast a Hull Breacher and hope I don't die. That's all I got. I twisted. I gambled. My opponent ended up with a Force in their hand, so I guess theirs ended up better than mine. Oh, and now they see my hand and know they are free reign to just murder me. Sorry, unalive me. Don't defund me, YouTube. I don't really know. By keeping my hand, I was pretty pressured into this exact set of lines, but it wasn't exactly bad. I just need my opponent to have like 1 less piece of interaction. 1 more Waterlogged teachings, 1 less Pyroblast kind of deal. Act Fade and steal my Mana Crypt, maybe? I'm gonna just go Vamp Tinker and hope it works. There's like no other play, right? Oh, they refound Demonic? That's not good. I believe that means we've lost the game. but maybe they'll go for Ancestral instead of Force. Maybe they'll just get Mental Misstep. I'm pretty tapped into just playing towards them not having a piece of interaction. Because I'm not beating this board state ever. Okay, yeah, they got a Force. Well played. Yeah, we're dead. I don't know. Did not have the cards to win. This Tinker Mirror I don't like very much. That being said, I probably could have won the Tinker Mirror on the other game if I'd played better, so maybe it's just a skill issue. This game didn't feel like a skill issue. This game felt like they had just enough cards better than I did. I can't even beat them with Mana Crypt triggers because these constructs are going to be so big. Okay. This one seems like even worse, though, because of the Breacher shenanigans. I really don't like the idea of Fatal Push, though. No, I think I need to force check my opponent. If my opponent, I think I just need to make sure my opponent got the right card because I'm not winning that game by, I'm never winning that game by playing slower. Like I'm not letting them untap with an active Dak Vaden, 3 cards and a Urza Saga and like hoping that my waterlogged thing for an ancestral is good enough. I just play my Tinker, make sure they did the right thing, and we move on. Yeah, but like they're untapping with like infinite cards. There's just no chance that I'm gonna win a game that goes longer than 1 turn. So I might as well take my small odds that my opponent went and got something that wasn't forcible. Sapphire here is nuts, right? Because Sapphire lets me go with a land drop, Tinker Pyroblast. Classic Tinker Mirror. Jam my Tinker. Does it work? I guess I'm not beating a Pyroblast of theirs because we have no Flusters in our deck, though. It's kind of a huge issue, isn't it? Oh, they have 3 on color. No, 2 on color Moxen. Blue, red, Time Walk. Oh, they're just tinkering now? Okay, I guess they just had more power than I did. Sag. I don't like the tinker. Oh, pass the turn. So that means they have a force on top. I mean, we still have to jam into it, right? Because if it was a pyroblast, they would have cast it on nothing, probably. They had force on top and force in hand. All right. Well, I just had worse hands than my opponent. So my opponent had turn 1 Tinker with force backup, and then hit another force on their Citadel. All right, I've invested. We know that there's a Time Walk on top of our library. I mean, I just couldn't win those games, so there's nothing to really be concerned about. I just did not have the cards needed to win. All right, finishing up the 6th and final round here of this vintage challenge off stream. I just had a lot of time in between the final match and last round, so wanted to rest my eyes a little bit, but I'm gonna try to finish off this for a nice 3-3 challenge finish. This hand's got a nice start. On color Moxen, turn 1 Hull Breacher, some amount of counter magic. Definitely interested in this. But yeah, sometimes it can be tough streaming challenges when you finish a round in 10 minutes after getting, you know, brutally beaten over the head by a Tinker player. And I have to kill 40 minutes of time before the next round, so felt like it was better to rejuvenate, get some chores done, and then come back for our 6th round here with a bright new outlook on life. Don't know where my opponent is, though, so I'll see you when he comes back. All right, it begins. I think I'm down to hold open Hull Breacher and see if we can't get like a probe or something with it. A bizarre activation. Saga. Wasteland, but no Lurrus. Wasteland on my Saga is not great here for me. This is once again a spot where I probably want this Waterlogged Teachings to be a Lorien. Or maybe this is mono white. No, it's Ravager. Okay. Well, Ravager shops. Man, I do. These cards are all kind of dead, so maybe it doesn't matter. Ravager shops. Our deck doesn't look like it's that tuned to be playing versus Ravager shops, right? We have no fluxes or anything crazy. Shattering sprees, Hurkyl's recalls. All of our lands are getting destroyed. Yeah, I can't negate creatures. And they're instantly bigger than me. Looks bad. Looks real bad. Real bad. All right, that's pretty good. So if I don't get hurt again, then I can Mystical for Twister at least. But I am still dead behind on board, so we're gonna need to combo off after. Hopefully this is just like another creature. That's not a ballista. A clown car. Okay, yeah, that's totally fine. One, okay. Probably should have crewed this in response. I guess not if you wanted to attack. All right, let's see how good this Twister is. There's Twister, yeah, Twister. 2 Wastelands was not enough. So we Twister, get some better cards, hopefully. Oh, we got better cards. Get a brain freeze off the. I guess I can get yeah, brain freeze off this. I could even Twister again. But I'm definitely gonna win that game. But brain freeze twice here for, I guess it's deterministic. Mills my whole library. Sweet. I thought we were gonna lose that game for a hot minute there, but then I performed the combination. Let's bring in an Abrade and a Lightning Bolt and Fatal Pushes. Theoretically, these negations are worth it for spheres and stuff. See how many cards you have to take out first, because Pyroblast is obviously dead. Mental Misstep is not very good. Probe is not very good. But we don't have any Flusters. So I actually don't have that many cards to take out. Obviously, Deck Fading is good. Island is good. Fast mana is good. Mysticals and Vamps are good because of Tinker. So... do I still want both? I think I still want both Twisters. Maybe like one Waterlogged Teachings, and then we'll just play 2 Negations. Um... one second, sorry, chat. All right, I went with one of the negations. A big question is if I need those needles or not. I don't know the answer. This top could probably have been cut for a needle if I needed to. Let's just start by negating using Hull Breacher here. Deck Fading is probably a little bit more versatile. I like basic island top. Try to play around Wasteland. I can still Fatal Push like an Overseer if I need to. Though I'd probably rather steal an Overseer. Get it? Steal Overseer. Ugh. This one is hard to force. Sorry, hard to steal and hard to push. Probably need to let it resolve though. Kind of unfortunate. Ravager. Ugh. This kind of puts me in a really bad spot. Maybe I don't. Maybe that's like too aggressive, but it really like negates the power of Dak Faden. Kind of want to draw a natural land here. Did not draw a natural land here. Oh my, these cards are awful. I think we're just dead. Wow, those are like some of the worst cards I could think of. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, we did 2 for our 1 ourselves twice, and we didn't have any lands. Not sure. Don't really know what else I'm supposed to do from this spot. Like, I don't have massive anti-artifact cards. Maybe I can get them to go to 2. Ah, shit. Maybe I can, like, squeeze a bolt out in this game somehow, but that would require them tapping all 3 tombs again, which seems unlikely, but... kind of might be the only play I can make, so... I'm pretty sure I need to play this tap land if I want to play the game, so let's just play to our out. On our out here is just they tap all 3 Ancient Tombs. That seems highly unlikely unless they have like Clown Car, another Ravager, or if they play like a Walking Ballista. Those are really the only spots that they would play all 3 of these tombs, and they have to have no other lands, which they probably don't have, but it seems unlikely. Kind of need last card Ravager. Okay, they probably don't have anything then. They're gonna use this to crew the Clown Car. Okay. 3, 7, 10. I'm just going to get rid of the Clown Car, I guess. I don't know. Not much that I do matters here. Oh, that's my red source. I don't think it matters. Right, because I don't have... I guess I can spin and try to find a red source in case they... Okay, I don't even have a red source. Okay. Yeah, that was terrible. These Waterlogged teachings have looked pretty poor. I wish they were Lorien revealed most of the time. Basically, every time except for the one time that it won the game, I've kind of wanted it to be a different card. I even trimmed one this game. All right, well, we're on the play, which is a lot better for our chances of winning. And we need to kind of focus on ourselves a little bit more instead of trying to be too reactive. We were very reactive in that game. So Yeah, I don't really like. We just like we were so card disadvantaged, and then we didn't have a lot of mana. Maybe I should mulligan the hand, but it's kind of hard on the draw. This hand's obviously nuts. Being on the play versus shops is pretty important when you're a blue deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunate number because it means that we can't play the DAC and Twister, but I really like the idea of giving my opponent a fresh grip here. And yeah, I mean, it just looks like a really strong play to just reset. Obviously, I lose 2 good cards to do it, but oh, okay. Well, that's just crazy. Ancestral Recall. Away. I still have a 7-card grip. I have 4 mana, a Dak Fade in. My opponent has who knows what in their hand. A random 7. Could be bad, could be good. Still have a bunch of counter magic. A bunch of good cards in the yard. Chalice on 0. I only have 1 way to remove that with an Abrade, but I don't think that matters. I got a pretty nice 7. Workshop, Mox, Chalice. Revoker for my Dak Faden. Waterlogged Teachings can get a braid, so I'm probably just supposed to get rid of Ponder. Yeah, Sphere is fine. I'm probably just gonna steal the Pearl. That's like a million mana, huh? What does that even get? Do I even have other like good hits besides Ancestral here? Bolt, Mystical, Breacher, Push, Brainstorm, Abrade. Wait, none of these cards are very good. I guess I just get a whole Breacher and play to that. I mean, I could get the Abrade. Yeah, let's just take the Abrade. Gives us a nice safety valve here. I don't think I'm gonna remove you. Like, I obviously can't cast the Abrade, but double Workshop, Frenisphere. That doesn't matter. Still have about a million mana. Ah, Tinker. That should be pretty good. I guess that makes my... I guess the Transfer does matter if I have a Tinker, right? I mean, I still am probably supposed to Tinker. Probably want all of my lands from this spot. I don't think I'm going to be Brain Freeze comboing anybody at this point in the game. Obviously, my Spells Off Citadel costs 3, but I think that's okay. The only way that goes badly is if my opponent... I guess they would have to Metamorph, and then they would also have to cost 3, so it probably doesn't even help. I still think it's correct to like get rid of my mana crypts, but maybe getting rid of my mana crypt is too much lost mana. Kind of hard to say. I just steal that thing. Underworld Breach. Okay, so I can Twister again, which has got to be the best play here. So I just play my land, steal the Overseer, play the Underworld Breach, and play the Wheel. I guess I lose my Abrade this way, but I also have about 1,000,000 mana now, so I wish I didn't have to use my Tolarian Academy. I don't really feel like the ways I win this game matter too much. I guess I can Abrade up. Oh, I guess I can Abrade 3 times now. But I can Abrade the I can do like double Abrade or whatever, and then it's all over. So we top 32 and get some points back by going 3-3. We're able to scrape by. It's kind of a dicey looking Sphere Shops matchup, to be honest, but I don't think you need to respect Sphere Shops right now in the format anyways. So 3-3 finish for this deck. I would say Waterlogged Teachings lived up to my expectations, which were not high. I think they're fine. They make like the things that they're doing make sense, but I wouldn't say it's better than Lorien Revealed, and I would say most of the time it was worse than Lorien Revealed, except for like that. I mean, when you're looking for a removal spell, it's pretty nice, but when you're looking for mana, it's kind of a pain in the butt. I would say more than half the time it was bad, and then the other half the time it was like a lot better. So up to you if you want to try to play Waterlogged Teachings in your deck. I would consider maybe splitting them up or playing less or doing something differently, but not exactly the correct format for me in terms of this deck building. That being said, tutoring Hull Breacher is really sweet, and I do think Hull Breacher Twister looks pretty reasonable. This whole deck list in general is pretty reasonable. The sideboard looks a little silly when you have like this much graveyard hate, but when you play against Dredge twice a tournament because it's 20% of the field, even if it's a 30% win rate deck right now, but it's not a 30% win rate deck, but like yesterday it was 20% of the field at 38% win rate, so it's a little bit of a riff on that. It makes sense to have this much hate. That being said, I lost 2 mirrors because one of them was play skill diff. In my opinion, I played poorly, and then one of them was just my opponent outdrew the crap out of me, and I couldn't play the game. And then there was the one Lurrus matchup where I could have played better as well. So I do think that a more powerful magician might have been able to turn this tournament into a better finish. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Thanks for hanging out today. More vintage content like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the YouTube channel. I'll see you then.